Jesus said, "Anyone that obeys his word is like a man who builds his house upon a rock." In a world of doubt, the words of Jesus are a spiritual rock in the sea of speculation.
When I first started out in Christianity, I was taught the doctrine of dispensationalism. That theology breaks up the Bible into different time periods or different administrations where different rules apply to the people living in each particular time period. For instance, Israel lived under the law of Moses, so they had to live under those words written at the time of Moses. This teaching also goes on that the words of Jesus that are recorded in the Gospels were only for that time period for those Israelites living at the time he was here on the earth. The teaching goes on that now, after his death and subsequent resurrection, we live in a new time period. And his words that are recorded in the Gospels are not applicable to us since his resurrection. They're good for learning, but not applicable for doctrine by which we're to live by today. For years, I held to this belief, and I really rarely looked at Jesus' teachings in the Gospels. At least, I didn't look closely. I didn't look at it with, this is applicable to me. I just would read it and gloss over it, take what I'd like, and didn't really think that they were applicable to me. However, in my own self-study of the Gospels and comparing them with the other Pauline epistles which came later, I began to realize that the words that he declared in the Gospels were in essence the same concepts that the Apostle Paul declared later on in the church epistles. There was no real difference. And it opened up the whole section of scriptures to the Gospels, these rich words of Jesus Christ. And then one day, I'm reading a very fundamental verse to Christianity, Romans 10:9. It says that if you confess with your mouth Jesus as Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. This is a fundamental verse in Christianity. And when I read this verse and I compare it with some things that Jesus spoke in the Gospels, I realized I needed to rethink my beliefs regarding the Gospels and the words that Jesus spoke. Here it says to make Jesus Lord. This is the beginning of Christianity. Confess him as Lord. Or you'll hear people say, accept Jesus into your hearts. That's what you got to do. You got to accept Jesus. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to make him Lord of your life? What does it mean to accept him into your heart? Well, in the Gospels he tells you, and here in Matthew he said, not everyone who says to me, who confesses me as Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. But he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven will enter. Many are going to say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name cast out demons, in your name perform many miracles? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Therefore, everyone who hears the words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house upon a rock. I want to be a wise man who builds his house upon a rock. I don't want to come to the end times and the day when I meet my Lord and have him say to me, I never knew you. How disappointing that would be to think that I'd made him Lord of my life and I never really knew his words. You see, we have to know the words of Jesus if we want to act on his words. And his words are a firm rock for us. So for all of you, for anyone that confesses Christianity, for anyone who says that you are a disciple of Jesus, I'd like to put a question before you that Jesus put forth to his disciples. And in Luke 6:46, a very confronting thing, he said, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? That's the question. Are you willing to look at the Gospels, look at the church epistles, look at the words of Jesus, and see what he said, and then determine that you're going to act your life and build your life upon this rock, Jesus Christ. Because Jesus' words are a spiritual rock in a sea of speculation. And it's his words and acting on his words that will show that he is Lord of your life.